Hello and welcome to this episode of a new series, which I think is a good idea, which is From the Depths, tips and tricks, things that will help you get started, and just general information. Now, what I'm going to be covering today is basic orientation of blocks, types of materials that you can use to build your ship structure or plane, and that's it for this episode. So you will be started out with basic tutorials, but what they generally will not tell you, apart from using G to orientate it, like if you look in a particular direction and press G, it will orientate it in that direction. However, if you require some more kind of specialist kind of orientation, like if you're building something like a crown cannon, or even something with a basic AI and you just want to put it in a particular place, so I find that rather than doing that, which is a bit hard to control in order to get it in the right position, what I do is you hold tab and then you use whichever one you want. You want it on the side? It's a simple E and S. You want it on the back? It's simple S, and so on. Note that Q and A and W and Q and E and W and S swap with each other depending on your orientation, because they're based on X. They're all based on the planes, the kind of X and Y coordinates, because that's how voxel building works. On material, wood is a fairly basic and cheap material. It costs one material, has 180 health, 3 armor, and 10 weight. It gives you a buoyancy of 27.7. Stone is something you only really consider if you're building something on land. It has an armor of 7, a health of 300, a weight of 40, and a material cost of 2. It has a buoyancy of minus 1.7. So, whereas wood will actually give you buoyancy, stone will take it away, which means it's not really suitable for using for ships and planes, especially planes. Mainly because you could use it in a ship, but it's just rather heavy and doesn't have a brilliant armor value, and takes away buoyancy instead of giving you, such as some other materials do. Okay, and here is metal. Metal has more health than stone, 50 more, 8 more armor, the same weight, and then has the same buoyancy. Metal is generally a better choice, just because it has a better armor value, though they do weigh the same and cause the same issues, so you're going to be relying on air pumps a lot, or helium pumps if you're building an airship. Now, alloy. This is what I use for the majority of my vehicles. It's generally quite decent for it. It gives you more buoyancy than wood, though it's 5 times as expensive. It's 8 times lighter than metal, and actually 2 times lighter than wood. Has an armor value of 13 and a health value of 260. This is it's a really decent material, though with metal, you may not actually need a keel if you balance things right, whereas with alloy you always will, and you may even need hydrofoils in order to make sure you stay in the water, or, you know, don't become a submarine. Then we have lead, which is basically just a weight block, 300 health, 4 armor, and 200 weight. It's 5 times as heavy as stone and metal. It's used for nothing but weight, really, and it has a potency of negative 158.7. It's a lot. It will weigh you down a lot, but it will make you really stable. And then you have heavy armor. Weight of 200, so the same as lead. 1000 health. 40 armor. 5 times as expensive as alloy and metal. It actually protects against EMP, which others don't at all. And it has a buoyancy of negative 158. Again, this is going to be used on a very big ship like stone and metal, or just or as I use it, to protect just my AI and my alloy ships. Alloy and ammunition. Trust me, you need to protect your ammunition. You do not want that to go up. You also have other blocks, such as glass blocks, which I don't use at all. I don't see any point. You have the light block, which is kind of useful because it ignores collision, so it enables you to have some mechanism like a sail or otherwise go through something it would not be able to go through. You have ERA armor, which is something specific to defense against advanced cannons. It stops the enemy from just imparting a whole load of explosive damage onto your hull, which is never good. But it can only be used once. It's rather expensive to use because of that. Yeah. There is a disadvantage to the light block. It will explode upon contact with anything else. You also have the rubber block, which is useful for any land vehicles, I find. And then you have the surge protector, which is purely anti-EMP. And then you have some things. One thing I want to note is that all of these come in sizes. I would heavily suggest using things like the 4 and 3 beams, because a normal block will have 180 health, whereas a wooden beam for 4 meters has a health of 1080. There is a large advantage in doing so. See, metal 350, 2100. It's also just good design to do that. And yeah. That's it for this mini episode. And I'll see you next time.